Welcome on in. Welcome on in to our midweek connection. I'm so glad that you are here. I'm thankful for you. Go ahead and make sure that you are commenting and sharing with each other the love. That's what we are, is I am one love. In fact, if you want to put that hashtag in, it will not hurt my feelings. I am one love. And hashtag we are one love. This is our midweek connection, of course, and I'm so thankful for you being here on this wonderful Wednesday evening. And I'm excited. Oh my gosh. I think I'm working on, like I've said to you already, I think I said it during meditation this morning, I'm already working on next year's theme. Not that we want to get ahead of ourselves, but that we understand that things are shaping up and becoming exactly what they're meant to be. You know, sometimes when we end up in a situation where we feel labored by what's happening in life, we can have a tendency to get caught up in what's taking place and begin to be fearful because it doesn't look like we think it's supposed to look like, but it is all working out perfectly. In fact, if you'll type that into the comments right now, it's all working out perfectly. And one of the things that we did with our meditation this morning was we got into a space where we were intentionally realizing, I've said this many times about not being your thoughts, but I don't even really think. It's not like something I actively do. Thinking occurs because the brain is working. If the brain is working properly, correctly, thinking is going to occur. Because that's what the brain does. Just like the lungs breathe and the heart beats and the legs move and the hands move, the natural flow is for the brain to do that. It's a function and to think. That's what it was built to do. But I am not those thoughts, and I'm not actively thinking as much as thinking is happening. And I just happen to be engaged with some of those things that are taking place and some of the energies from it. So just remind yourself of that. It's a wonderful way to take a look at life and see it through consciousness rather than seeing it through the mind. We can move away from sense perception and move into consciousness awareness. And when we do that, our whole world changes. But I'm excited about our growth. I'm excited about what's happening. Made some decisions this last week. Put my foot forward on some things that I know I'm supposed to do with my life, just reiterating the calling that I'm called to, and ultimately that always puts the gears in place and in motion for what's supposed to take place. And we do this skillfully, but we do this lovingly and compassionately, knowing that we are all one. We're all connected to each other. There is no way to disconnect from each other. You can be disconnected in your perception, but never in reality. We are all connected to each other. I am one love, and you are one love. All right, we are looking at Tao verse 66, but before we get into that, let's take a few moments to just center ourselves in a centering prayer, affirmation, time of intention to set our energy in alignment with being open. And right now, I let go of what I think I know. I even release the activities of this day. I see all things as working together for my good. I'll say especially the things that challenge me. I'm at peace with the challenge. I welcome it. I affirm that all is well, life is good, and I am truly blessed. I recognize that everything and everyone in some way is my teacher. Every decision I make, good, bad, or indifferent, also teaches me more about me. And with each step, I become more consciously aware and awake to the reality of who I really am. I recognize that I am the knowing, not the conditions, circumstance, or situations that are known. I am the knowing itself. So as we settle into this time together, I declare and affirm that I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. I am filled with all manner of goodness and consciousness. I am clear. I am surrendered. So I say, Spirit of Truth, take from me what I don't need. Bring to me what I do need. Every part of my being is surrendered to the Supreme. And so it is. And so it is. All right. Tao Te Ching, verse 66. And it says in the Stephen Mitchell translation, we'll go there first. All streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. If you want to govern the people, you must place yourself below them. If you want to lead the people, you must learn how to follow them. The master is above the people, and no one feels oppressed. She goes ahead of the people, and no one feels manipulated. The whole world is grateful to her because she competes with no one. No one can compete with her. Can I get an amen for humility? One of the greatest aspects of a leader is to be able to follow and to be able to collaborate. There's wisdom in the counsel of many. Anyone who intends to lead must be able to follow. And that makes the greatest leader. The one who is going to teach, the best of teachers, are lifetime students. Ones who really don't see themselves, and for me as a spiritual pointer, that's what I call it. I don't consider myself really a teacher, honestly. I'm not teaching you anything. What I might be doing is creating an environment, facilitating an environment where you feel safe to grow and to expand and just simply locate, discover, uncover, recover your essential, true, and authentic self. That's not me trying to be, what's the word? It's not me trying to be modest. It's actually what I believe. I don't know that we're necessarily called to teach as much as we may be called to shake the ground up so that the fruit trees can grow through. If someone is going to lead, humility to me is paramount. Humility, however, ironically, comes from a deep sense of security and inner balance. I find that people who are the most arrogant have a tendency to be the most chaotic internally. People who are the most arrogant and have a tendency to try to lord over others tend to be people who are out of control internally. Most of the time, people who are controlling are individuals who are out of control of some aspect of their life. And what I mean by that is that someone who's trying to gain control of something and hasn't learned yet that you don't really control you either. You do good to even manage you, but you don't even control yourself, because anyone who feels controlled is going to automatically feel claustrophobic, you're going to feel enslaved, going to feel captive. And all of us ultimately want to be free. But let's read this from another translation. Now, all of you know I love water, and I love the example that's given in this Tao verse. And I won't exhaust you and hold you long this evening, because really this is reiterating a lot of things, but it is reminding us to return to the soft and the subtle and the supple and the fluidity that is water. Another version, another translation of this verse says, "The river and the sea can be kings of 100 valleys because they lie below them. That is why they can be the kings of 100 valleys." And I want you to think about this. Water is low, and yet everything, every living thing, everything that walks on the ground, two-legged, four-legged, and every other being comes to the water, seeks the water out. If you were lost in the wilderness, you would seek the water out. And you know where you'd find it? You'd find it at the lowest point, because that's what water does, is it flows to the lowest point. This is one of the reasons that Lao Tzu is saying, recognize what water is doing. See what it's doing, follow its example, and remain low, remain humble, and you'll notice that anything and everything that you need will ultimately come to you. The reason that the rivers and the seas are sought out is because they remain low. And it says here, the river and the sea can be kings of 100 valleys because they lie below them. That is why they can be the kings of 100 valleys. Therefore, if the sage wants to stand above people, he or she must speak to them from below. If he or she wants to lead people, he or she must follow from behind. Therefore, when the sage stands above people, they are not oppressed. When he or she leads people, they are not obstructed. The world will exalt that one and not grow tired of that one, because he or she does not resist. None of the world resists that one. Every force creates a counterforce. Even people who are tyrants at some point, dictators, those who choose to use force, eventually get taken out by force. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but you look back over time at those who were seeking to control the whole planet. What ultimately happened to them? Well, every single one of them met their demise, did they not? Anyone who is trying to control other people through oppressive means and through violence and through force will eventually push into play the very same thing. This is one of the reasons I love Aikido as a martial art, and I call what we're talking about right now Aikido of the soul, or emotional Aikido. Because if you can learn to be humble enough when people come with attacks and people say things about you that are true or not true, whatever it may be, but when people are talking about you or someone is attacking you, you can learn to push that energy to the side. I'm still working on that. You know, in recent months, in recent weeks, I've had some things said to me, some things assumed. I've been in conversation. I've been interrogated. And I took some things energy-wise and held them within me for far too long. And then I recognized, ooh, I don't want to hold that energy. I want to move that energy aside. And I don't want to bring harm to the ones who throw the darts or the ones who bring that energy on. Not at all. I want to just simply move that energy, not the person, but move the energy to the side and just watch it flow away from me. To stay humble, to stay loving, to stay kind, and to stay compassionate. This gets you to the place where you can lead from a position and people will not feel oppressed. People will not feel obstructed in their own journey. People will not feel or grow tired of you if you're leading from a place of humility, kindness, compassion, and patience. Patience is a big one. Being able to be patient as a leader in whatever position you may be in. See, the thing is, you may be the leader in your home. You may be the leader on your job, the leader in a church, the leader in whatever it is that you're doing. If you're an entrepreneur and you're the only one who works for you, you're the only employee, still whatever it is that you're doing requires customers. Be mindful of how you interact with them and have a sense of compassion. There's a couple of things that this does. One, it actually will increase the volume of your sales because it makes you more sellable. It makes you more approachable. But also, two, it makes the stress less. And I have a saying, less stress is best. What a way to live your life with less stress in it. Connected and interconnected through compassion and through love. I wrote a couple of things down and then I'm going to let us go. Because again, I don't want to hold you too long. This is just midweek connection. Here's a couple of ways, suggested ideas for how to practice this verse, and I'll read it again. The river and the sea can be kings of 100 valleys because they lie below them. That is why they can be the kings of 100 valleys. Therefore, if the sage wants to stand above people, he or she must speak to them from below. If he or she wants to lead the people, he or she must follow them from behind. Therefore, when the sage stands above people, the people are not oppressed. When the sage leads people, the people are not obstructed. The world will exalt that one and not grow tired of that one, because the sage does not compete. No one can compete with them. When you're in cooperation with the flow of life and you're not competing with other people, you're not competing even with your own self, you find that as you cooperate, you create a sense of cooperation from the world around you, because what you're doing internally, the energy you are building and nurturing internally, is the energy that's going to come back to you. So number one, and this is an interesting one, but this is what came out of the time I spent meditating on this verse. Let go of assuming that you always know what's best. Now, I know that seems to come out of nowhere, but I want you to think about this just a moment. Most of us wake up every day thinking we're right about everything. That's the ego. That's the part of us that really just hopes we're right. But most of us wake up every day thinking we're right about everything. I'm not saying that we're all know-it-alls, but most of us, for the most part, pretty well think we're right about most things, right? But stop assuming that you always know what's best. Stop assuming that you always know what's best for other people. Live a life that is non-interference. Live a life that doesn't need to compete or compare or interfere with whatever is going on in someone else's life. Like the ocean, stay low, speak softly, and remain humble. Simply let others live their lives without your interference. Just be present like the rivers and like the sea. Be present, and you will begin to nurture everything around you. People will be drawn to you because you will be a constant flow of nurturing presence. Just like we're all drawn to water, to drink it, to swim in it, to bathe in it, to just sit in it, to enjoy it. Water nurtures without even trying, because nurturing is its nature. And that leads me to number two, how we can practice this verse. Number two, remain a servant. Literally all the time. Remain a servant. In fact, ask every day, how may I serve? There's two things that I believe that if we would wake up in the morning and say these two things, it get our consciousness going first thing in the morning. The first thing I say when I wake up in the morning, you all know what that is, I've told you before. Thank you. Typically, it's the last thing I say as I start to go off to sleep. Thank you. Here's another thing to say. How may I serve? So wake up in the morning and say, thank you. And how may I serve? What can I do to make the world a better place? How can I serve? Practice living as if you're here to assist all of life. Just assist. Not interfere, assist. be available to assist. So, the river and the sea can be kings of 100 valleys because it lies low. I'll give you this last example and then we'll go. I've mentioned this to you before. An Olympian jumper knows that the way to get high is to first get low. So if you're going through something right now that's got you down, you're in a great position to make a leap forward. Because there's no better way to leap forward than to get low first. So, instead of cursing that time that you're going through, recognize it as an opportunity to spring forward. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Spirit, lead us where our trust is without borders. Let us walk on the water wherever you'd call us. Take us deeper than our feet could ever wander, and our faith will be made stronger in your presence. We know that you are guiding and directing our path in every way. We remain conscious, awake and aware and alert. And we know that the truth has made us free. And so it is. Here is a quick word from the wonderful Donna Miller.
Hi, I'm Donna Miller. I am the treasurer for One Love Spirit Center. I want to personally thank everyone who's made any kind of contribution financially to One Love Spirit Center. We really appreciate your gifts, and we could not bring you our weekly services if we did not have support. So thank you. One thing that has come to light is that a lot of people donate through PayPal or Venmo, and we do not get your address or email address when you do that. And we would like to reach out and say thank you to you. So if you could please, through one of our group messages, send us your name and address and email if you're more comfortable with that, so we can have that and reach out to you from time to time. So thank you very much.
Donna, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of the tireless work that you do to take care of our finances here. Those who are giving, thank you for doing that. I want to let you know, remind you that November the 20th, we're getting together in person, doing our Thanksgiving get-together at Thistle Farms. We're going to be utilizing one of their rooms there to get together. The seating is limited to 50, and so we want you to go ahead and make your plans. We need you to send us a message and let us know if you're going to attend. We are working on that situation to try our best to get it to where the cost is as least expensive as possible. I think ultimately it's going to end up costing us $450 maybe to rent the room. And so we're trying to get that cost down so that it would be easy on One Love Spirit Center this year to get that done. But we want you to make plans to join. So if you're coming in from Chattanooga, remember that Nashville time is Central Time. If you're coming in for Birmingham, it doesn't matter because you know that's Central Time. Those coming in from Atlanta area, same thing to you, and anyone from anywhere else that's coming in for our Thanksgiving gathering in Nashville, Music City, USA. Go ahead and make your plans, though, to be there November the 20th. Also, we will be meeting in person at the Clubhouse, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. The Clubhouse on Highland in Birmingham, Alabama. We will be meeting in person and live streaming at the same time. We are going to be meeting quite a bit more in Birmingham. I'm getting excited about this. We're going to be meeting quite a bit more in Birmingham on a regular basis. In fact, we'll be live streaming every time, but it's time for us to start being able to get together in person. And we're picking Birmingham to do that. And I'm excited about it. We're going to have a wonderful announcement to make about our Christmas get-together in December. That will be in Birmingham, and we'll let you know all of the plans around that. But remember, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, we will be in person at the Clubhouse on Highland in Birmingham, and that'll be at 9 o'clock Central Standard and 10 o'clock Eastern Standard. And then the following week, though, Nashville, Tennessee. Let's make our plans to be there and have a wonderful night of inspiration and music. We're going to probably have friends from Unity of Nashville, some